What is up, Game Junkies? Welcome back to the Game Junction Podcast. We are here for episode 53 today, and we have a special guest with us. Yeah, introduce yourself. Oh, he's got it. He's got a brew there too.
Josh here, everybody. How's it going?
Doing good.
Yes, we are excited to have you. We see you're already celebrating, so.
Heck yeah, it's always celebration. Plus, tomorrow's a holiday, so.
This is true. And listen,
Very true.
we did lose Jimmy Buffett, so we have to celebrate in his honor. And there's nothing more than having a drink.
Well, I don't have a margarita, but
Yeah, we don't have margaritas though. We did not like that very well. We're late and no margaritas. What?
On it. We're going to have to remember next time this happens. Wait, won't happen again. Disappointing. Seriously, though, much respect. Jimmy Buffett was a bit of an icon growing up. So we want to go ahead and shout out our sponsor. We do have the TimelessGamer.net back again as a sponsor this week. TimelessGamer.net exists to inform and enlighten video game enthusiasts of all kinds. One of our favorite articles this week is Space Invaders Change the Gaming Landscape in 1978, a throwback to what it was like in the space shooter era. If you want something more modern, they also have an article about Starfield, which you were able to play last night, and Brandy says she is never playing, and we'll go ahead and get started.
When did I say that?
Why are you never going to play it? It's a Bethesda game. It's bound to be full of bugs and crap to begin with, but an awesome game in the end.
Exactly.
I'll play it when they fix all that stuff, but I did not say I will never play it. It just might take me a little while.
I'm a cheap SOB, so there's no way that I'm going to pony up to begin with just to pay the extra money for all the bugs.
True.
Yeah,
I also don't have an Xbox yet.
Yeah, what is going on? I'm playing on Game Pass, so I'm not buying it myself. But yeah, I still had 3 months of free Game Pass. So I actually have not paid for Game Pass this entire year because you accrue these Microsoft points within Xbox. And I get enough points every single month to cover my Game Pass. So I've had free Game Pass every month this entire year. So like you just do these these little things will pop up. They're like these I guess they call them challenges, but sometimes you just like click on an ad and you like get 100 points and like you click I don't know, you like download 2 games from Game Pass. Do that every month, and I haven't paid this entire year, so I'll take free.
I'll have to see what my daughter has going on there because she's always like, I'm running out of Game Pass. I need a new Game Pass card.
Yeah, I mean, that's a way to do it. I know a lot of people that do that now, so it's cool, free games, so I'm all for it.
Exactly.
Definitely. So let's go ahead and get started, and let's learn a little about you. What is it that you do in the gaming community?
Pretty much the only thing that I really do in the game community is drink beer and make videos, right? Honestly, I don't know. I don't have Twitch. I don't do anything other than just make YouTube videos. Kind of just got started into that back 3 years ago or so.
Mm-hmm.
I got a video games monthly box that my kids ordered for me, and they're like, "Dad, you've got to make a video." So I made a video. Didn't think that I would actually keep making videos. Just figured it might be a one-off or maybe a couple of them, and that was that. And honestly, just everybody, like you start communicating with everybody, you start making friends through YouTube, and it's what keeps you going. It's what fuels the fire.
I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's why we're all here.
100%. Yeah. The friends and support in the community are literally everything. So definitely agree.
Wait,
with that.
you have friends?
Here we go. Already. First 5 minutes.
I had to give you a hard time.
Yeah, hard time coming back to you here real soon. So, with that said, let's go ahead and find out where specifically people can find you as far as like social media. You're on YouTube. You have a Facebook and an Instagram?
I do have a Facebook page. I don't really promote it too much, Drinking Games with Josh. Instagram, I'm on there, Drink and Games, and then X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it nowadays. It's at Drink Games at Games Drink. Jeez, I don't even know what my social medias are. I'm pretty bad.
Too many drinks.
It's at Games Drink.
Too many drinks. He's
Never
like,
too many drinks.
He just makes his account and it's all the names backwards. It's Games and Drink. Josh Wick.
Twitter's what threw that name at me, so it just stuck. So I'm good with it. I'm easy to get along with. Unless you ask my wife that, she'll probably tell you different.
Oh man.
Oh,
We'll
man.
go ahead and put all the stuff in the description below, just so everyone can find you and follow along. Because, one of my favorites, because you're also local to my area, so that brings some good points there.
That's
We need to
scary.
get together.
Yeah, we have to meet up, get a couple of these game stores I think that you recommended that I still have not been to. I'm just right over the state line, so
Yeah, you got to
we'll
come
have
up
to
my
do
way.
that.
We'll go around. I'd actually like to do like a Maryland meetup. I've been thinking about it because there's a lot of YouTubers in Maryland alone, just in our little region, and I think that would be
Yes.
pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good time. I've already met up with Video Game Votery, and then when
Oh, I
Steve
forgot that
Rightway,
he was in Maryland, right? Where's he live? Like outside of Maryland?
Pretty like
well, his
southern.
address is blank, but no,
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 like
he's
he's like super close to you.
yeah, I think he's like right on the other side. He's probably closer to probably you than me, but
dang.
he's like 40 minutes maybe from me or something. Because when Mr. Rightway came up, it was him, and then we briefly met up. So yeah, there's quite a bit. There's a couple more local people, and then Blips and
Black
Pips,
Ranger.
obviously.
Black Ranger's another one. He's down.
Yeah,
I think he's near Video Game Votery.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I met up with him. We went to Virginia to East Starland.
Oh yeah,
all
I've been
three.
wanting to go there. I
Yeah.
used to follow their website years and years ago.
He's in
Yeah.
Southern Maryland. So that's he and I have talked about getting together too, but it's kind of like we're probably like an hour and a half from one another, so it's like find somewhere in the middle to get together and hang out.
So
Eventually.
basically, I need to move to Maryland. Is what you're telling me? That's the YouTube spot. Okay.
There's
Pretty
quite a
much.
few. I could think of at least 2 or 3 more as well. So
There's a
Yeah.
lot here in Ohio too that I didn't even like. I just keep
Yep.
learning that there's so many here, especially in Central Ohio, which isn't far from me. But my goodness, I feel like I'm learning about a new one like every week. Like even like Scott the Wise, he's like an hour and a half from me. I didn't know that for the longest time. Yeah, it's crazy. So
we have a
Yeah,
tiny state. So
I think in like this eastern, like northeastern area, I think there's like so many big YouTubers too.
there is. Yeah,
Like it's a lot.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of West Coast guys though too, and a lot of those guys are super close to each other. Where they like
True.
so much so where they get together, like every video for stuff. Like they're just
Man, these YouTubers, they're taking over the world, aren't they? They're in
Yeah.
every state now. It's crazy.
yeah. Go on. Who would have
and in
thought?
Canada too.
I mean, is there any like are there any YouTubers in like I don't know Idaho or Alaska though?
Probably.
If you are,
Wisconsin.
drop it down. Let us know, folks.
Yeah, let
wherever
us
you can.
know if you're there, because I gotta go out to both of those places for my traveling series. Can't wait to go out to Alaska. I'm gonna be like, I bobsledded to get this video game Grail, and then
Oh,
there's gonna be like a
yeah.
video of me like on like the bobsled, like freezing. My eyebrows are gonna be like white. I'll have like frostbite. Have to chop off a couple fingers or something just to get some crazy gaming Grail.
You could use the thumbnail something like, you wouldn't believe the Super Nintendo games that these Eskimos had in their igloo.
I had to
I
fight a bear or something to get these. It'll be like something wild.
You know what would be funny is finding something ice climbers related. Then you have to be like crazy. Just find something ice climbers related in Alaska, and I think that would make for an awesome video.
That'd be very fitting.
It would be. I think so too. So what is it, if anything? I'm not sure. What is it that you're specifically collecting, or I guess specifically playing? Any of that? Like, is there any sort of series you're collecting for, or system specific?
From a collecting standpoint, I collect a lot of everything that I would want to play. But specifically, I'm going for a full Nintendo and a full Nintendo 64 set eventually.
Oh, goodness.
I think I'm at around 500 or so licensed games for the Nintendo Entertainment System now. So
That's a good chunk.
getting closer, but there's still a lot of bangers I got to get to. So that'll cut into the pocket a little bit. And I think for the N64, I'm at like 100 and 90 games or something like that. I've
Okay.
got quite a
Yeah,
few
that's
games
not.
for
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty
They're
good.
90
And
games.
still, some are reasonable. I mean, there are some more expensive ones, but with the video game monthly boxes and stuff that you unbox and different things like that, you might be able to get more of the, like common or okay
That's
ones.
why I like the boxes. I know a lot of people, there's mixed feelings about them, and I think it kind of depends on what your expectations are for those
Yeah.
subscription boxes. For me, getting that box every month, I just have those two systems selected. So they have my list of games. They don't send me duplicates as long as I keep my list updated, and they're
Yeah,
helping with a lot of the
exactly.
common games and stuff, building it up, and
Yeah,
I think
that's
it's
the way to
great.
do it.
Yeah, I don't
they
think
get
that there's anything wrong with that.
I don't think so either. They get a lot of flack, but like if you select like something specific and you're doing like what you are, there's a lot of cheap NES games. There's a lot of cheap 64 games. Keep it updated and you're good. You've got new additions to that collection every single month. So I think
I would assume at some point they'll get to where they'll say, "Hey, we can't give you 5 games every month because the games that you need yet are games that are a lot more expensive." So they'll reach
Yeah.
out and we'll do something when that
Yeah.
gets there. But until then, it's working pretty good for me.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's kinda what
I think
started
that's
the
good.
channel with, was just like I said, unboxing. That was actually the first thing I did, and it's just kind of snowballed from there, just having some fun with different things. I'm not the most creative individual. I'm not the best at editing and the best at coming up with ideas, but I entertain myself, so that's just kind of the way I roll with it.
Yeah,
That's
just
the way to
doing things, having a good time, things that you'd be doing otherwise, so why not, and then next thing you know, you have an audience of people who are following along, they're commenting, reaching out, next thing you know, you're in like a Marco Polo group chat or something, it's just
It
it's
has been
just
kind
like
of crazy like that.
yeah.
And truthfully, a lot of people that just watch YouTube that aren't like don't have little channels or big channels like you guys have or anything, they don't understand that part of it. They look at everybody as like superstars, but then when you meet people in person, like we met in person, it's just a lot of just cool regular people. What you see is what you get, and that's the
Yep.
truth. And it's been awesome.
Yeah, and on that note, meeting in person, right before we get to and on that note, let me just shout out some people in the chat here. So we have Millennial Collector Ohio here, Mystically's here, Thinking Inside the Box, Chase is here. Thinking Inside the Box said, modern gaming, you have to wait a year to play anything anymore. Chase was saying, she said, I don't have an Xbox yet. I got a Series X December 2020. And it's still sealed. No reason to open it yet. Maybe Starfield. Who knows? TechBuzz Gaming said Brandon. Brandon doesn't believe in collecting. He'd rather rent them on Game Pass.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have people are talking about my shirt, saying, is something wrong with her? She's not wearing a TMNT. I did pick up a Mutant Mayhem shirt and I was gonna wear it, but I was like, no, I'm gonna wear a black shirt instead of the green Mutant Mayhem. So I should have wore it. I knew I should have.
Okay, hey, one point on that before we get to any more comments. Please, for the love of God, and those shorts with TMNT, don't use that daggone wrap anymore. I am so over it. The Mutant Mayhem one, I cannot stand it. It is so bad.
Can't hear you.
Listen, use like Vanilla Ice's wrap or something. Like I can't with it.
Alright, I'll switch up one, but if the views don't come, I'm gonna switch back.
They're not coming now. Get out of here.
The one has like 60,000 views or something.
What? Which one?
Yeah, it takes about 3 weeks, and then it went from having like 1,000 or 2,000 views, and then all of a sudden, it got like 60,000 like 3 weeks later, and I was like,
which
what
one?
the?
The headless one? No, you just
No.
did that.
No, I just did that one, so that one won't take off yet. No, it was when I
Wow.
did,
Isn't
like,
that-
Turtles Are Taking Over, and then, like, a bunch of them just started hitting big. Like, they
Yeah.
all just blew up at the same time.
Pokemon one, it took like 3 weeks before it just like shot up. For some reason, it's like that. I don't know, but that's cool.
Yeah,
though.
so I'm
That's
gonna
cool.
keep rolling with what I'm doing, but I guess for you, I'll change the
I'm
song
just
on
giving
one.
you a hard time.
Sounds like it's
Mhm.
working to me. 60,000.
Yeah.
Hold
People
on,
love the rap,
how's the
except for
song go?
Brandon.
How's it go again? Ugh, I just can't. I don't know.
I'm not gonna sing it.
Okay.
You probably don't wanna hear me sing
You don't know it.
Okay, we have Chase saying, Mystically said there's a lot in Ohio. Chase was saying there's some in Northern Virginia too. We got to get Discart back to making content. He's close to guys in Maryland. Miss that guy. People are saying, I love Scott. If Slipknot can come out of Iowa, anything is possible.
Hey, this is
We
true.
have, talking about ice climbers, skipping the SNES. Oh, we have Escalated Friend in the chat now. Favorite podcast. You all have great shirts. Awesome. Thank you. Mystically said, same here. Highlight of my Sundays. Tech Buzz Gaming. Oh, snap. And then Chase saying, the algorithm be trifling. And then Escalated Friend said, you guys fight a lot. Too much hate. We are just playing around. It is all just jokes. We're not
That's
ever
kind of
serious.
funny, though. No, we're always just joking. I
Yeah,
love
we're
it.
all just little jokesters over here.
It seems
it's
like a lot of people think that we're like fighting or like don't get along all the time. Like we get those comments. Like we're just joking, guys.
No, we're all like good friends. We
we
just like to play around. That's all. It's a different type of humor. Not everyone. Not everyone.
It's just us.
And then they said, I really would listen to this over any of the Joe Rogan episodes.
Oh well, I think. Okay.
Yeah.
He's pretty popular. When I would just wear my Gamer Aimer pen for the whole episode.
Oh, look at that. Okay, so back to the thing that we just kind of got distracted from. Oh, a Tech Buzz is asking what show is on Brandon's TV. That's actually him.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Which way?
Looking at the TurboGrafx, the fight or the arcade stick. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, so that's actually...
what's it called? The Turbo Stick?
I think it was a Sega Genesis arcade stick.
That was TurboGrafx.
If you're on my channel, I don't have a TurboGrafx.
I swear to God, it was. It looks like somebody may have popped in your video and was showing it.
Oh.
Yeah, right there, Turbo Stick.
I may have been shouting a channel out on there.
Oh yeah, you were. Yeah. My bad. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
Love it.
All right, so back
to when I do those CRT Saturday matinee videos, that's part of my shtick with those. You know, I do a shout out, I show the beer off, and then we play a little bit of a game on the CRT. So
I saw you do Tiburon. That guy's awesome. Love that.
Solid guy.
Yeah, great guy.
Very nice.
He said you could outdrink anyone, is what he told me.
I don't know about that.
That's what he left the comment on our channel. I'll try.
Gotta love it. But no, the community is awesome. And like you were talking about before, we had like a little bit of like a prior talk before the podcast. You're talking about meeting people in real life and at the convention. You just went to your first convention, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Went to Southeast Game Exchange. That was a blast, honestly.
Yeah.
I honestly say if you're on the fence out there about going to a convention, you're like, I want to go, but I'm not sure how all these people that I watch and I interact with all the time, I'm not sure how that's going to be. Because it is weird when you've been talking to people for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, whatever you've been talking to them, and you actually meet them in person for the first time. You're thinking to yourself, how's this going to go? And honestly, everybody was just super cool. Super, super cool.
Yeah, I mean, we've got, a great circle of people around us. That's for sure. And I know that, like, me and you, Brandy, when we've gone to all these conventions, like some of the people we've just had around us that we've interacted with for a long time, just phenomenal people. I mean, people that I talk to every day but haven't got to see, like you said. And it's just unbelievable. It's just like meeting someone you've known your whole life. You know what I mean? It's not even like a weird introduction. It's you just jump right into it, and I love it.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel forced either. Like,
yeah,
and it's crazy because you can just
there are those people, but we've gotten lucky. The people around us, but that has happened. The both of us,
a couple times, but we've in the grand scheme of it,
yeah.
Honestly, the first night there, I had been messaging back and forth because I've been friends with Jen from Retro Rivals for a while through Facebook and stuff. Mm-hmm. So when they got in town, I guess they messaged me that evening and they're like, "Hey, are you in yet?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we just got in." They're like, "Well, we're all going out to dinner at this barbecue joint. Do you want to come out?" And we were like, "Yeah, we'll come over because we're looking for somewhere to eat." So we went over, and you walk in and you got like, man, I've never met anybody before. I come in and Jen and Scott are like jumping up and they're like, hey, and they come over and Dennis and they're coming over and everybody. It was just cool. And then hanging out at Pinky's Revenge, the arcade, that was really cool. Just
Pinky
a great
in the
time.
Brain?
What's that?
Pinky in the Brain?
The arcade down there was called Pinky's Revenge. They had the like pre-party
Okay.
in. Like,
Yeah.
Arcade. So.
Nice.
Good time.
Yeah, it looked
Yeah,
cool.
that
I
was
saw a
great.
bunch of videos there. It looked like a fun time. Did you both sign Scott's head?
Look
I did.
right here. See this? This bald guy right here. I could not bring myself
You and
to sign
Scott
another bald guy's
have
head.
the same head. You have the same like hairstyle.
Yeah, Scott was like, he's like, I won't do this for anyone else, but because you're short, he literally kneeled down on the ground so I could sign his head. He's like, I won't do this for anyone else.
Insulted.
And I was like,
That's funny.
wow. So then I just signed it.
That's funny. And he
Yeah.
still has it till this day.
Yeah, tattooed on there.
Wears it with pride. Love it.
No, but it was a blast. I love the energy from everyone. I love, seeing everyone just get together. We're all like planning this like big group meetup at some point in the future. Maybe not this year, next year, but the year after. We're planning on trying to do something just because it's so much fun getting together with everyone. Not just all YouTube stuff either. Just like hanging out, talking, catching up, seeing how everyone's family's doing. Seeing what everyone's up to, a little bit of like a behind the scenes on some things. Like it's just everyone's such great people, and we love this whole community. It's like it's kind of the thing that just keeps pushing us to do more.
Honestly, I was starting to I guess everybody who makes YouTube videos, they get burnout after some time. They're like, am I going to keep doing this or not? But I was starting to get that way, and it kind of gave me a resurgence in a way, to try to put some good stuff out, try to do something different, maybe. Just a lot of fun. Like I said, the people. It's just hard to believe how genuinely cool the people that you see on the screen that you talk to in the comments really are. They're real people, really cool people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely agree. We've met some incredible people for sure.
Yeah, and just like everyone in the chat too, like everyone's super awesome, super nice. We have more people joining in too. We have Chase saying, anyone want to trade one of my Nintendo Switch kiosks for a PSP kiosk?
I got you.
Yeah. Fingers crossed, actually. Some guy wanted to meet tonight during the podcast for a kiosk, and I said, I'm sorry, but I have a podcast, so I'm hoping that it is still available tomorrow. He said he marked it
never
pending
hear
for
the
me.
end of this.
I know. Fingers crossed. He said he marked it pending and everything for me. He's going to honor it. I just really hope no one comes out of the woodworks here, because if I lose out on this kiosk, I'm going to be real upset, and y'all are going to hear it.
Yeah, look at it this way. Hopefully it's somebody that doesn't have a kiosk and really wants one for their game room. And legitimately...
Was it a Sega Genesis kiosk?
Was it any of the kiosks that I would super care about? Just tell me that. You know what those are.
No, it's not anything crazy, but it's in one of my I have everything else before. Well, not all the way before, but I have a couple before and a couple after this in the set. So I need this one.
Cool.
Another one I've added into. Well, I guess it kind of always had it there, but it just doesn't pop up like the other ones. Not that any of them really pop up all the time, but the Sega Pico kiosk. Oh my god!
I know. I just saw that too, but I couldn't justify.
I saw somebody they had one up for $4,500.
Yeah, I think that's one of the ones I just saw. I'd love to have one of those, but I need a Genesis and a Saturn first, and Super
the Saturn
Nintendo.
one. Now that would be incredible. That's a Grail one right there for sure. That'd be cool.
No, it's not a third Dreamcast one. We also have
I'm telling you, she's hanging on to the 2 Dreamcast. She's like, I gotta get this other kiosk. I gotta get it, but I have 2 Sega Dreamcast kiosks to play.
They look better together. They needed a friend. They have to stay together at this point. I can't separate them. Okay, Escalated Friend was saying, what would you guys do about doing a video together with you three. I would love to see it. I think you guys have great energy. Oh, that's very nice.
Oh yeah, very nice.
I'm sure we'd all be drinking a beer, but then I don't know where it would go after that.
Well, if you come
It'd be a
Game
little
Running with me,
entertaining.
we'll go. The one retro game store that I was talking to going
Yeah.
to with you before has straight across the street 4 microbreweries. Nice little pub crawl.
Oh, okay, cool.
Could be fun. We go. There's our video idea. We go to the game store.
It's crazy that we've never gotten to go out one time, Brandy. Like, actually, like, just go out. When we've been together, what, 4 times this year, I think? 3 times we've gotten together. We haven't, like, just gone out to do that.
It's always business.
Yeah. I guess we semi-did at Corks, at the barcade. We kind of did. But me and you were still kind of, like, on a mission. There wasn't, like, we didn't, like, chill, but...
It's always content. Always CGC. Content for everyone.
CGC, though, we're doing some stuff.
Something planned,
it's going to be cool.
But there'll still be content there.
Oh, there'll still be plenty of content.
Then we have Chase saying Siege is the one to go to. I agree. Escalated Friend was talking about, I hear the people, like, taking off the grid in Immortal John Hancock. Everyone is super nice that we've ran into, so I know that some people have heard different things, but all of them are great. I guess they're just saying that they haven't heard great things about.
Oh, yeah. Everybody we've been around's been great. Yeah,
everyone we've been around.
I've had dinner with John probably 10 plus times. He's always
John Hancock at Siege. I'm walking around. I didn't even know where he was at. This was like, it might have been this. I think it was the second day, and it was kind of slower in there on the second day. And I'm walking with my son because he was with me the whole day. And John Hancock just out of the blue was like, "Hey, I like your shirt," and I started talking to him, and he was super, super genuine. I mean, John, anybody who watches retro gaming channels on YouTube, they know who John Hancock is. He's one of the godfathers, I guess, right, of retro gaming channels. But he was super, super laid back, really cool guy. I had a conversation with him for 15, 20 minutes, and honestly, I was taken aback, honestly, how cool he was.
Yeah,
and that's like the thing. No matter how big some of these people get, they always talk to you. They always, chat it up. And I hope that everyone in here, doesn't just judge off of what they've heard. Just if you ever meet some of these people, go up to them, have a conversation, and see how it goes from there.
Now, I will say, just to kind of add to that, like those situations are going to be unavoidable. Some people are just like that in general, and you'll know. But yeah, always judge for yourself. You can't listen to something that's heard from everybody, because it's not always the case. Maybe the person had a bad day. Maybe that person was semi-rude to them. Like, you just never know the situation. So always judge for yourself. And everybody that I've, been connected with and that we have dealt with, at least together, has been awesome. So a lot of positive people in the community. The downers, they, make themselves shown pretty quick. So you'll know.
Yeah.
If you don't
for the most part,
if you don't like somebody or what they're doing, don't watch them then.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
For sure.
There's plenty of other, content creators too. And then, Tech Buzz is asking, or saying, I can't wait for Cleveland. Brandon, you need to come to Pittsburgh. So I guess more conventions.
They invited us to go, but remember, it just wasn't going to work. It would have been 3 conventions, 3 weekends in a row. It's just like, man, it's just too much. Like, I would love to, and probably next year, but it is a great convention. It's just, there's just so much. We've been to an overload of them this year, which is great, and we've enjoyed all of it.
Yeah, it's just over 10 for me.
Yeah, I've been to close, I think 9 of this entire year, so it's just like, we would love to be able to go to all of them if we could, but we've, got families.
I was seriously considering going up to Pittsburgh.
It's great, man. It's great. Everybody I know loves it. But how far would he be from Cleveland? I'm not sure what your distance is again. I forget. Is it 6 hours?
He'd probably be a little closer.
I mean, maybe consider that one. There's some time.
Mine might be 7. His would probably be like 6.
Other than our
Maybe.
local, like the Ohio ones, I think our shortest drive this entire year was 7, and our longest was like I'm pushing 11. Like they've all been pretty far drives, but 7 hours now with all the drives that we've had doesn't even seem that bad. So, but what you got? What is that?
Retro Tiburon was saying, "Where is the IPA, Josh?" Say, right here's the IPA. This is the Hop Drop IPA.
I was
going
gonna.
to
There's a local brewery here that has a I don't know. I assume it's an IPA. I'm not too familiar with like anything. It's not like Bud Light or Busch Light. But they have like a Space Invaders canned one, and it's like actually licensed by Taito. And I wanted to grab that before the podcast. I totally meant to do that.
Yeah,
That
there's
would be really cool.
Like so many different can art from different.
Yeah.
It's a can I have sitting there, but it's like it's got the retro kind of.
Wow, level
so
up.
Cool. Yeah. I always drank during the podcast for like the first 40 episodes, and then I haven't for like, I don't know, like 10 at this point. Like always. It just like
I'm always drinking water.
I feel like it just loosens me up. I feel, more, I talk more when I do. So I was like, yeah, it worked with the podcast, but meant to grab that and totally did not. I am sorry.
Nope, I just stick to my water. I don't need anything extra.
And meanwhile, she's got vodka in there. You're frozen, Randy.
We had a little cookout yesterday at the house.
Oh, so did I freeze?
Quite a few.
So you're good now.
Going a little lighter today.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, maybe next time we'll definitely have you on again. Love it.
Yeah. Just a couple more quick comments to try and get caught up before we move on to the next questions. Where am I at? Okay, people are saying that they really enjoy this podcast. They like all of us together. I'm thinking inside the box. People who have no idea what they have be like, I don't see these anywhere. Must be worth a second house. Oh, so they're talking about like buying different things. They're still on the kiosk, I think. Okay, is Brandon a fan of Pikmin and Metroid?
Oh yeah. Yeah, Metroid. Just recently, I picked this up. This was one of the. It's definitely gone up in price, but I recently picked this up, and it's one of my favorite Metroid games ever that nobody talks about. It's
nice.
a remake of 2 for the Game Boy, and they remade it. I wish they would bring it to Switch because it's like ridiculously priced. I don't like when things like shoot up like that. But I just put this in the other day to play a little bit of it again. But yeah, I'm a huge Metroid fan. Big Metroid fan. 2D and 3D. So love all those. Pikmin. Nice. We were just talking about Pikmin 4, me and you, the other day. We both got to pick that up. I'll grab it at a discount. And it's not a long game. So I'll definitely, hopefully soon, find Black Friday is when I'll probably find it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll go on sale by then.
That's a series that I haven't dipped into at all, actually.
I
saw my son playing it, but I've just never played any of them.
Just at least experience it once to make a judgment on it, I feel like.
Yeah. It's one of those ones that I think it'd be semi-hard to not, like, get some sort of enjoyment out of it. Just because they're just so, they're, like, kind of calming, but, like, they can be as in-depth as you want them to be, especially 4 from what I can see. There's new multiplayer with the last 2 games, and they're just fun. They're not super long games. They're like super highly replayable. I think they're great. And also just to mention, they just brought 1 and 2 remastered to Switch in a pack. So you want to jump in, that's the way to go.
Sounds like a good series to jump into in between stuff if it's like something a little bit lighter.
It's like a palate cleanser. Yeah. It's that type of game for sure. Oh, we got Josh in here, so shared it up too. Thanks, Josh. Sorry, I'm like, I don't get all the comments, so I apologize. I'm trying to see what I can.
Yeah, we just have a couple others. Okay, Deciphon was saying, I feel like most content creators are fake, but Game Junction has always been good to me, and along runs in the Facebook lounge. Thinking Inside the Box also said, agreed. I get so sick of the plastic creators. These guys are so genuine and so kind. and so hardworking. Well, we always appreciate it. Glad you guys are enjoying the podcast. And then Chase is saying, y'all bring Josh down with you to Riley. There's a brewery here that made an IPA for Riley retro gamers. It's called the Dreamland. And the label art is awesome. Drinks on me. Nice.
Sounds awesome.
Okay, you guys know with a channel like mine and all the beer that I drink, that's like a must for part of my vacation. When I'm planning out an area that I'm going to, I'm like, where are the microbreweries so I can check out the local flavor?
Okay, let me ask you a question because I'm really dumb. Like I said, I drink like the generics. What is a microbrewery versus like a regular brewery?
Microbreweries are just small breweries, craft breweries. They're not large breweries like Anheuser-Busch or Coors or something like that.
Craft beers are really hard for me because I've maybe had 4 or 5 different kinds and liked one of them. But I know there's so many.
Judge all of them based off of,
I think the thing is for me, the bitterness that I've had from, like, I think all of them were very bitter.
IPAs.
Yeah, they're just...
It depends on the style that you're drinking. So IPAs, for the majority of IPAs are going to have some sort of bitterness to them. That's just the style of beer.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
If you go with a West Coast IPA, they're typically a lot more bitter than like a New England style or a hazy style or tropical style, something like that. They still have some bitterness, but they're usually a little sweeter, juicy or something like that. If you don't like that style of beer, you could always try. There's a ton of different styles of beer. Like, I don't like sours, but my wife loves sour ales. So if we go somewhere, she's looking at the menu to see where the sour ales are, and I want the IPAs. But so many other good styles of beer, pilsners and blondes and bocks and stouts and porters. I mean, I'll try any type of beer once, but usually if they're sours, I'm backing away from that.
What does hazy mean? What does it mean when it's called a hazy IPA?
You could tell when you pour it into your glass how hazy it is and everything. It's usually a lot of a sweeter style of IPA. I don't want to steer the wrong way by saying sweeter. That's maybe the wrong word, but it's not usually quite as bitter as a typical IPA is.
Mm.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, I'm still learning with all that. I have a few friends that are very, very, very into craft beers. Like almost as like their lifestyle seems to be around like craft beers. That is who they are. I don't know that I could ever get that far, but they're very much into it, and they visit a lot of those places, and when they travel around, they're always making those stops, picking them up. They have a podcast as well. Actually, they're local here, and they come back, and they talk about those, and then they talk about movies. So it's like very similar to sort of what you do, and I think it's a cool combination of, doing something like that from their travels. They'll bring back a bunch, and then just talk about these like old movies.
To me, the beer is as much of the hobby, as much of a separate hobby as the video games.
Yeah.
Hence drinking games, right?
Yeah, I love it. I love the combination. It's cool. You hit like 2 audiences there too.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Yeah, there are some.
And it's nice to learn a little bit about, some of the different things, and then just there's so much to get into too. Everything tastes a little bit different. Different areas have different things. All the cool artwork. I've seen like tons of like t-shirts and stuff advertising different things, and they're all like retro gaming based. And then you go to these cool places, they put on events, they have different shows, get-togethers, and I mean it's really cool. And just like the whole barcade scene, a lot of them are diving into different types of beers and different things like that.
Money, that would be almost like a dream job for me, would be owning a barcade, because
it's cool.
The best of both worlds. And in my area, actually, there isn't any right here. I've heard rumors that one is going to be popping up soon here near where I live, so that would be interesting if it does. But if I had the money, I would definitely get in on that. I think it would just be fun. And I think if you did it the right way, with the right mix of games to bring the people in for that, and the right mix of the different kind of beer from the local scene, I think it would be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that'd be really cool.
My buddy has one in Montana, and they make very good money on the weekends, but like they get like a steady flow of people through the week too. It's all pretty good. Like, and they I'm trying to remember what city it is. I actually haven't got to visit out there. But they're in like a sort of smaller town, and they weren't so sure like how it was going to do, but they've been doing very well. I think they've had it for 4 or 5 years, and like there's no competition around them either. But it's like people go out there just to drink, And they said like a good chunk of people that are coming out there are coming just to drink. They don't even play the arcades. They come and hang out. They like the environment. Just seeing like just the scenery of arcades and all the TVs going on. It puts you in like a sort of a environment that some people probably feel comfortable with, or it's just cool, whether they're going to play the games or not. So I think it's very interesting with arcades for sure.
Location probably helps a lot. That's pretty interesting to hear that there. You said they're kind of in like a rural area.
Yeah.
My hometown here is, I guess you'd almost consider it a college town because we do have a university right here. And I think it would just that kind of environment alone would do well. The college crowd would definitely be coming out to the bar. So.
Something to do,
Yeah, I think so too. Be pretty cool.
Yeah. That's why I like going to all these conventions and stuff. You get to see like the different things that they have in different areas, like hitting up the game stores, the little barcades, all the different things that they have, because it's different everywhere that you go. It's really cool, and they all work well.
Definitely. So what are some of your first gaming memories?
Probably my very first gaming memory at all is the Atari 2600. I'm probably a couple years older than most of the people that are watching the YouTube retro stuff, but 2600 was the first system that I got at my house. It was actually my dad's system. Yeah. I think my sister and I probably played it a lot more than my dad did. For the longest time, the only game we had was Frogs and Flies. I don't know if you're ever familiar with that, but it's just little frogs on the lily pads that jump back and forth and you try to catch the flies.
Yep.
But yeah, definitely the 2600. Now, that's probably not my most nostalgic system because the Nintendo Entertainment System was the one that I was
right there with you
at a friend's house, went to his house and had seen one before. And when you're at that point in time, the only thing you had was Atari or like ColecoVision or something like that. And when you saw Nintendo for the first time, it was just like, it was mind blowing watching Mario or Duck Hunt or, crazy.
Yeah, I mean, no.
Like a huge jump. A huge jump. No, I was just saying, we've talked about this many a times, gaming leap.
It was
like
huge.
The jump from, Atari to Nintendo. Like, that's why Nintendo stands out so well, because, like, it's just like night and day. You go from, like, playing E.T. or Pac-Man or something to, boom, Nintendo, in your face, this is the coolest thing ever. Like, we'll never have those big leaps anymore because, like, things are so, like, it looks real now. Like, video games look real most of the time. So it's like, how do you get better than that?
Yeah.
Really, the last three generations are kind of, to me, when I think retro versus modern, you go 7th generation till now, that's modern gaming. Anything prior to that, that's retro. Some people may even say that the PS2, that 6th gen, isn't, but there was a major leap there. And you look at there's PS3 and Xbox 360 games that look just as good as stuff on the PS5. You know, so
there's also some that look worse than PS2 games too.
There are. No doubt about it.
So, like you were saying, for me, so I also had the 2600 first. We just had hand-me-downs all the time with systems up until the 64, and the jump from that to the NES, I think, was so powerful for me that my nostalgia for the 2600 is just like so minimal. But for the NES, it's just like full blown, like everything NES. When I first played that, it just blew me away. But the jump from 2600 to NES was huge. But I think the jump from Super Nintendo to 64 was the biggest jump in gaming, in my opinion. Seeing Super Mario World and then seeing Mario 64 was absolutely mind-blowing when I saw that. I just could not believe it. It was like that felt like real life. Mario 64 felt like real life. Like it'll never get better than this. Like this is peak gaming right here. And it is peak gaming, but like it felt like that. Like I remember us talking about how realistic GoldenEye was. And you look at GoldenEye now and it's like those face models are so scary, man. They're like nightmare.
The 64 is my second most nostalgic system because I think I was around about 19 when that system came out. So it was one of the first systems. It was probably the first system that I bought with my own money, and just the fun. I still say today, the Nintendo 64 is the king of couch co-op, period. Like,
Yeah.
the 4-player you could plug in, everybody could jump in. So many good times playing GoldenEye or Quake 2. The Mario Kart 64, that's still my favorite Mario Kart of all of them. Just amazing system. But you're right, though. Now you go back and you play GoldenEye, you're like, ooh, after you've gotten used to playing a lot of the more modern games, and you're like, oh, man, it just hasn't aged very well. But, man, I love this back in the day.
Oh God, I know. I mean, it was just it was incredible back in the day. There was like no better multiplayer than GoldenEye and Mario Kart back then, and it's like
and the WCW and the
yes,
and the
no revenge and no, yeah, it's just so good.
Those are some of the greatest times. And
yeah,
man, playing with my friends, my neighbors, going over their house, bringing your controller with you, your memory card and stuff with you, or swapping out games. Like, hey, you want to borrow this one? Oh, let me borrow this one. And man, like just playing back in the day. Those are like some of the best.
Because of the age I was at, where I would either be playing multiplayer with my niece and nephews, and it would be, the kid time and having a good time and having just as much fun as when I was playing with my friends and, we're having a good time and playing GoldenEye or anything else. It was just the best, honestly. That's probably some of the best gaming memories I have are from the N64.
I think still today, we did a post not long ago, and we actually get it pretty frequently when we talk about like anything related to this, maybe even, adjacent sort of topics. But we did a post asking what people thought were the worst system, or like one of the worst systems of all time. What was the question, Brandy? Was it had the worst library? Maybe, I don't know. I think I've done both, but all but 3 people on there said Nintendo 64, and it had 58 comments. So only 3 of those did not say 64. And we were just like, what? Like, I don't.
It gets so much hate.
So much hate. I was blown away. I didn't know people disliked the 64 that much. Like I didn't know legitimately, because I love the 64.
It hasn't aged as well as a lot of other generations have.
But better than the PS1, I think.
Depends on the game. I mean, the PS1 did RPGs. Great. There's so many good RPGs on that system. But I think a lot of the people that give it the hate, though, they didn't live with that system back when it was current, because that system was amazing.
And like you were saying, the RPGs, those were lacking on the 64. So like we had like essentially none of that. There were a couple games, and I do agree with that. I think graphically though, I find, and I go back and check these out all the time, checking gameplay, seeing streams. I think that like just graphically, the way that the polygons were, especially with characters in the PS1, like there's something about seeing Tomb Raider on the PS1 and how like sharp and pointy the like the pixels are, or the polygons. Like it just
they're not pixels. Sharp and pointy pixels.
I would go with that the 64 was better at 3D than the PS1.
I can't believe you. That's a good point though, Brandy. That's not what I was talking about, but that is a great example.
That's what most people remember. Like, it just was not realistic at all. Like, so many games were like that. So many fighters.
That's what they looked like.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was like Madonna at the Super Bowl that one year.
It was worse than that. What year was that?
I don't even know.
Like 2001. That's funny. No, I think that it didn't do 3D as well. I agree with that. The RPGs though, unmatched. I think the PS1 has the greatest library of RPGs probably ever. The RPGs on the PS1 are just god tier. There's so many good ones. There's so many B-level ones too that are awesome.
I'm actually more recently getting into the PlayStation 1 more and more, because back then I had a Nintendo 64, so I played a lot of the games for that library, but I didn't have a PS1. My roommate had one, so occasionally I would get to play. I got to play some Rayman or some Tekken. We do that stuff, but I never really got into it a lot. And honestly, it's kind of surprising how much I've started falling into the PlayStation 1's library more and more. I think the N64 3D better than the PlayStation 1, but where the standout games that people will look at from both of those systems now and say those games still look good are probably
Yep.
the 2D games that were on those systems.
Yeah. I agree for sure. And not to say that either system is bad by any means. I think that, with that post, and I don't, disagree with this point. I know with the library post that we made, that makes sense. The 64 library is very small. And there's very few must-play games. Like, there's a lot of, there's a lot of, like, I don't want to say average, but there's a lot of, like, sort of mediocre-ish, like, fun games, but not as many, like, stellar must-play. There isn't, 100 games you have to play on the 64, like you would say for, for a lot of other systems, but the first-party entries from the 64 were, 10 out of 10. Like, all those games were great. I can't think of one off the top of my head that I think was bad. Personally, I think my least favorite, which a lot of people love, I'm a massive Zelda fan, but Majora's Mask, especially that version of the game, I was not the biggest fan of, just because of the time limit, and I got stuck as a kid over and over and over. I didn't beat it until I was like 27, so.
Jeez.
I genuinely have never beat that game still, and I loved Ocarina of Time.
Me too.
Arguably, that's one of the best games ever made.
Yes,
but Majora's Mask, you're right. I think I've started and stopped it so many times over the year and just never finished it.
Can't even count on my hands with that game how many times, especially as a kid. But once I played 3D on the 3DS, that was the first time I beat it. And they also, there's a lot of quality of life improvements. There was a lot to that game that, like, if I play Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask, I'd play it now on the 3DS. Like, those quality of life improvements for those games are next to none. And I think those are the way to play them now. I think they're awesome, so. Yeah. But, what type of games, I know you were just talking about the PS1, what types of games do you enjoy playing in general? Are you kind of all over the place? Are you, for a certain system right now?
Pretty much play about anything. It kind of depends. Like we were just talking about, like palate cleanser games. So sometimes you want to go from a game that's a lot more in depth. I like story-driven games, so I can spend, I probably spent hundreds of hours with the Fallout series. I love those games. Even dealing with the bugs and stuff of Fallout 3 and New Vegas back in the day, playing them. But I love Fallout 4. A lot of people didn't like that entry in the series. But then, like right now, I'm playing Origami King, Paper Mario, because it's just like a quick, easy kind of in between game, and then I'll figure something out for the next. I'll probably jump into some RPG or something next because I want something that's a little deeper storyline. But so kind of all over the place. And if I'm just playing, like if the kids and I are playing something, we'll play. I'll get my butt kicked at Mario Kart 8 or something because my daughter is like the best at that. She knows all the little tricks with that. So. But we'll play that, or if, my wife really doesn't play video games very much, but occasionally I'll get her to play some Pac-Man or something. So we'll get a little arcade style.
Yeah, the classics.
That's what she's into too. But
I want to ask you, Origami King, are you liking it? I just picked it up this year. I haven't started it yet, but I know it's kind of mixed with people.
It's not a challenging game by any means at all. But like I said, if you're looking for something that's just it's got a neat little story and it's just a change up,
It's cool.
So graphically, it looks good. The gameplay's fun. It controls well, and
do you like the battle system? How they changed the battle system?
It's not bad. It's a lot different. The battle system is with it. It take you a little bit of getting used to at first, but it's not hard. It's pretty simple to once you picked it up.
It looks cool. I love the Paper Mario games, and I've been looking forward to starting that one. I was actually going to start that right before Tears of the Kingdom came out, and that game is just not taking over because I barely get to play it, but kind of taking over my gaming time when I have it. And I'm gonna have to take a break here soon because when Starfield comes out, I'm going to play that. I'm going to stream it, spend some time with that. I'll go back to Tears of the Kingdom. I just have this terrible problem with open world games, and it's not a problem because I enjoy it, but I don't just like rush the story, and so because of that. It takes me forever with the game, and I spend
when it comes to games like that. I'm a completionist, so I want to do everything that there is.
Me too, and that's my problem.
I think I did everything in that game. I bought
did
Tears
too.
when it launched a couple months ago, but
Me too.
I haven't
Yeah.
had a chance to play it at all because I let my oldest son have it. He's like, "Oh, you got that? Are you playing it yet?" And I was in the middle of something else, and I'm like, "No, go ahead, you can play it." And he's just
Yeah,
sucking
good luck
to it.
getting that one back.
I just finally played it for 45 minutes outside of a stream. What was it? Maybe a week and a half ago for the first time. Every time I played it, I was streaming. So like my progress was very little. And I just got the first like story boss thing done with the game. and it says I'm 42 hours in. And most people beat it.
Wow.
Like if you just play through the game, like you can beat the story. Like should be done. And I just got the first part. Like I'm not even anywhere close. And I'm like, but
To me,
Breath of the
though,
Wild had over 1,000 hours in that game, so I'm not surprised.
if you can't complain about the price of a game if you're going to spend $60 or $70 on a game,
Yeah,
if you're just going to rub through the
Exactly.
story and not experience the entire game.
yeah,
You know,
Mhm.
a game like for me, $70 for that game, that's not bad considering everything that they're going to give you and the amount of time that you're going to spend in it.
I feel like I've already got my value in it. I'm not, the biggest fan of that price jump, but game development, the cost now is unworldly, and which is why I feel like microtransactions have kind of taken over, is because like you see the amount of money that these studios are spending. It's just insane, and then like the delays just cost them more money, and like it's not uncommon for a game to get delayed 3 or 4 times now, and like it sucks, but you know what, I got an NES game new for $70 back in 1997. Like it's nothing new. I remember Chrono Trigger was $80 at KB Toys, so like
Yeah, Earthbound was up there too. There
Earthbound
were quite
was
a
90.
few.
Yeah, so like it's
Yeah.
not unheard of. Like you adjust at the pricing now, what Earthbound would be like $140 or something. So it's like, I mean, it is what it is. It sucks, but at the same time, like I would rather the company charge us $80 for a big game like that than have all these microtransactions or this $40 paid story expansion.
Well, one thing you
Yeah.
have to consider too is that if you're going to spend $70, $80 for a game and you're getting a physical game, at least you're getting a physical game, because soon you're going to be paying that kind of money for
Yep.
just a digital download and you're not going to have anything. It's just a rental basically. You're leasing the game from them for that.
Yeah, it's terrible, like when you think about it. But you also got to think about too, the cost of living and everything else has changed. Everything has went up. Gas, everything, eggs, milk, like all this stuff has went up. So you would expect there to be, price jumps on things. Like it's not just going to be set at this for like the next 20, 30 years. Like I hate to break it to all of us, but we're all getting older every single day. We're getting old.
Oh,
Like yeah, well, you might not be aging, but how do you feel? Do you feel like a young
I feel pretty
one?
old.
That's what I'm saying. We're all getting old, so like we can't live in this little fantasy land where nothing's ever going to get more expensive and things like that. There's going to be change. Things are going to increase. That's just kind of how it
That's
is.
all with that is that you're going to pay that kind of money, but the companies should support you in that purchase. So if you buy, especially if we go to the point where everything is going digital, if you buy something digitally on the Xbox Series X and another generation or even 2 generations from now, Microsoft should honor that purchase still and allow that to be on your account as long as you still have your same account.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
I mean, Xbox does. I have all my 360 games digitally I ever bought.
as long as they do that and
Yeah.
there's a legacy and there's a way to still play those games that you downloaded, then it's not as bad. But
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. PlayStation, not so much. They are not supportive in that move whatsoever, and neither is Nintendo, which isn't surprising. I mean, that sucks. But Xbox, they've done some things right with that. The backwards compatibility, the fact you can play a good chunk of original Xbox games, 360 games, Xbox One, like that system. If you are either A, on a budget, or B, want the most from your system, sure, you're not getting the most exclusives, but Game Pass is the best value in gaming, in my opinion. If you don't want to have to buy games all the time, if you want access to new retro games every month, if you want access to day one first party drops, instead of paying $70 for that game. Like, I am a physical guy through and through, but Game Pass is the best value in gaming that we've had in the last 4 years. So,
and the beautiful thing about Game Pass too is you can try games out to see if you like them, if you even want to spend the money on them.
Yep, I agree with you, and I do that a lot. And also, the other thing with that is like going out and buying that game physically. You got to be careful. So, like Xbox, the thing that sucks with this is that a lot of Series X physical games are what's it called? Smart Cloud? Yeah, Smart Cloud. That means all that your disc is a key. So you have no game on your disc whatsoever, and that's about, I forget what the number is, but it's like 68% of physical Series X games. Yeah. So if you care about physical, like, you might as well not have that. All that means is you put that disc in your console every time for it to recognize the digital copy you have on your system.
Well, so, in a way, that even goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the split between retro and modern.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of PS3 and 360 games are the same way. The patches and stuff that came out after the fact, when you put it in, you've got to load it up, download the latest update for that game to play it. That's why you stay retro, folks, so you can just pop your game in and play. You don't have to wait 20 minutes for an update.
Yep, yeah, exactly. No, but we have quite a few more people in the chat, getting a little behind. We have Todd Friedman. Hi, chat. Hope everyone is doing well. Thanks for stopping in. We have people who are talking about different beer and things like that.
We don't talk about that here.
No, well, we already were like answering as we were going through. We have Gigi McGee. Everyone's cheering you on to do a retro barcade, and then they're saying that they don't. True. Some people are saying they don't do retro. Atari makes no sense. Would want, newer stuff. So you gotta have a variety. You gotta have some newer. Yeah, just like one TV with some modern gaming. I think it'll be fine. Yeah, people are talking about the big comparison between like Atari going forward. Everyone's saying that someone's mad at us. Lionheart Game 13. Just let us know why you're mad at us. I don't know.
Because we were rude with the PlayStation 1.
Oh, okay.
There was good points and bad points made about both systems.
Oh. We love all consoles, okay? We're just...
We do.
Yep. Then they're talking about some great Nintendo 64 games. Mostly like wrestling games have been brought up, so that's great. Oh, okay, I see. You guys are so rude with the PS1. Okay. And then we have Retro Rivals in the chat. I won't spoil everything.
Hey, what's up, guys?
But you guys should go over after the podcast to the Real Bit Wars. Go check out their channel to see what was talked about with YouTuber of the Month for September of 2023. We had our guest here who was nominated, so you can catch up on all of that.
It was a lot of fun. And honestly, I've been nominated a couple of times, but this time it was a little bit different, so I had a lot of fun with it.
Nice. So for everyone, I guess, watching, what is YouTuber of the Month? Just like to sum up a little bit of that.
For sure. So the competition, whatever you want to call it, it's been going on for, I think, 10 or 11 years now. It started up, and every month, basically, I think it was started, Jason Relaxation was the channel that started it. He basically put 5 channels up that he enjoyed as nominations and had people vote on them, and whoever got the most votes was the winner, and then that person got to nominate 5 people, and it just has went on and on and on for all these years. So if you're the winner for the month, you get to nominate 5 more people, and then everybody in the community gets to go over to that video and vote, and
that's cool
for who they like.
I love that.
It's basically for exposure for smaller channels, because I think one of the rules is and it's changed as the years have went along, but the rule now is that all the channels have to be under 1,000 subscribers. So kind of gives everybody a look at what's out there. And you might see some channels that you just unfamiliar with. There's so many channels out. I mean, I'm sure you guys find new channels every day, because
all the time. Yeah.
You'll get on a roll, you'll look at a topic of something, and then all of a sudden you'll see somebody else, and you'll see somebody else, and very cool.
Yes, so, he was nominated, so make sure you guys go over there and check out that video before we spoil anything like Retro Rivals did in the chat.
Well, I've seen some notifications pop up here from the Real Bit Wars to me through Discord. I haven't read it yet, but I'm sure you guys get the idea. It was fun. Go check the video out though. Chris is doing a great job this year. He's actually, if you haven't been following it this year, you should go over and watch the entire year that he's been doing it, because he's been doing the history of YouTuber of the Month. He started it back in January, and he covered the first year and the winners, and it's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's really cool. And then, because I saw in the one, there was Russ Lyman on there. Mm-hmm. He popped in on the one I saw with you, and then I just briefly... Yeah, I just went over now, and I saw Do You Nerd at, like, the first little set, and I'm like, oh, I gotta watch this, but then I was like, oh, I'm on a podcast, so I had to jump back, so for, like, a minute.
Russ is YouTuber of the year, the year prior to Do You Nerd, and he's been doing every episode, been doing a recap of that year, so it's been really fun.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm definitely excited for that, because I went over there and voted. I know, like, live on the podcast, I'm, like, looking at the video.
Yeah, that's
like,
really preventing you from a lot of things. That daggone grail, 10,001.
Yeah, don't be mad.
I shake my head.
This darn podcast is really messing up my game hunting.
Screwing up your life.
I know, I'm on here looking, and this guy just offered me this kiosk, so I'm thinking as soon as I get off of here, I'm going to run it up.
Listen, you know what's funny?
No.
Listen, if I was, I don't know, just as an example, if I was looking at a Dreamcast kiosk, which I would like to own one day, she would pop in, I'd be like, we have a deal at $1,300. She would pop in and be like, I'll give you $1,350. Look at her, she would take... She would take it from me. She would take it from me, and she has two of them. She's like, "Oh, there needs to be triplets."
Lucky. They find kiosks out back at GameStop in the trash.
I've done that. That's where I had my Wii U one back in the day. I got one when the Wii U was, but I don't have it anymore. But that's where I got mine. Yeah, I got it from the dumpster. I'll say it right here. I've said it before anyway. I used to dumpster dive GameStop, and I found a Vita in there. I have found several PS3 and PS4 boxes, but the Vita was crazy. And then I didn't find the full thing, but I found like the base part for the Vita kiosk. So it was everything but the system. And I mean, like, you find stuff. It's not the same anymore because I think most of them are selling them out the door, or, every now and then they are giving them away to people. But they're not throwing those away anymore. Like, people are too aware. I don't know that that's still happening. I tried for months to get the PS4 kiosk, and they said they were going to hold it for me, and I went in there one day, and it was magically gone 2 days later, and I was told from a little bird that she sold it. So, sold it out at the door for $600. So I'm like,
most of the time.
I saw a Switch kiosk they had, and they were selling it for $4,000 from the store directly out
there. Get out of here.
That's too much, but yeah, that's crazy. Dang.
I think that was actually the first video I ever saw of Brandy's was her finding the Wii U kiosk. She was talking about some guy came along and was like, I'll help you load it up in your car, randomly.
Yeah, I get lucky sometimes. Yeah, I was driving past so most of the time I have some sort of pre-arranged deal. I go in there very often, I harass the people. Next thing you know, my name's on the list, and then they say, oh, when we're, getting rid of it, we'll help you load it into your car, or I'll win some sort of like prize or something, drawing or whatever that the store has, and it's either between me or someone else, and then, they just say, come with the truck, on this date before our store closes, yada yada. Well, this time, a PS4 kiosk, I was just driving through the parking lot, and I see it next to the dumpster, slam on the brakes, and I'm like, whoa! And I just, I freaked out, and I just, blocked all the traffic, and then I just hop out the car, and then I'm like, oh, I can't really lift this, what do I do? Some guy comes over, and he's like, I'll help you, and then he just picks it up, slides it in my car, and I'm like, wow, what are the odds of that? And then just like, shocked that someone just like pretty much did all the lifting, loaded it up for me. I didn't even have to do anything, and there you go.
That's one thing I do not have in the game room that I'd like to have is some sort of kiosk. There's a couple
Same.
specific ones that I'd like to have, but depends if I can afford them at some point if I ever find them.
I am okay with probably any kiosk, but there's a select few, like Brandy knows, that like I would love to have that are at the top of my list. That at some point I want to have all those. I think like the ones that so my top ones that are like grail items are something I would want to put on display because these are just not out there, and like the chances of finding them anytime soon for even a reasonably deal under 10 grand is like very unlikely, but would be the Virtual Boy, Vectrex, probably Atari Jaguar, and then probably, I don't know if you've seen it, and I've seen very few of them, and I don't know anybody that has it in their collection, but there was a full stand-up Vita kiosk that also had the 3D monitor. It had the, of course, the glasses, and then it had the PS3 hooked up to it. It had all three of them. You just don't see them. Even in the collector community, I don't know anybody that has one of those. But there's a few, like, very special ones. But, man, I would be ecstatic to have, like, a Saturn kiosk or, some of the other systems I really love. Like, I just, any of them, honestly. That big Game Boy one that's, like, a giant Game Boy is another one that, like, I would love to own that. I love the Game Boy, but just the aesthetic of that, even if I didn't like the Game Boy, is so cool. So, kiosks in general are just very cool. And, like, some people out there like to hoard, like, Dreamcast kiosks, and like, they just aren't great people, but just kidding.
Some people just have 20-some kiosks and just can't have enough. They gotta start getting doubles, and, gotta go on podcasts and miss a deal of a lifetime.
Jeez, man. I'm telling you, this podcast is terrible. Podcast ends at episode 53. This is the last one. She's got to find her deal. Sorry, guys.
You don't have to be specific. Where do you kind of see like these type of items? Is it like Facebook groups or things of that nature that you peruse and you find these things on? Because you don't see a lot of that kind of stuff just pop up like Marketplace or things like that.
Well, that's where most of them that I see it actually pop up is Marketplace.
Yeah, Facebook Marketplace, Facebook groups, whether it be the kiosk group or just random groups that like people will post in, like, hey, I just have this sitting around. Does anyone know where I could sell this? And then you just start private messaging the person, like, hey. Yeah, just different places. Sometimes eBay they pop up, and you have to check like the location to see, and then you might be able to find it on Facebook Marketplace too. I know for a while there was like OfferUp and Let Go. They combined together, so sometimes someone will post something on one of those. Craigslist used to be a thing, where you would find tons of people selling them. So it's just, you gotta just check all over the place, and then usually like connections too, like local GameStops, check and see which one's closed down. I had a couple people reach out to me and be like, hey, I know you're a big collector. We're, offloading all of our kiosks. Do you need this one or this one? And I'm like, oh, I already have this one. I'll let someone else have it. But this one, I'd be interested in. And then they're like, couple $100 to the store at yours.
Dang, she's never told me that. Oh, let's let somebody else have it.
I've had
sometimes karma. You gotta throw something sometimes to the universe.
What I'm saying is, you've never messaged me like, hey, they got a kiosk. I don't need it. I already have it. Are you interested? I guess you did one time for that Barbie kiosk, but like I just wasn't in the market at the time.
Yeah, it came with the dress up kit and everything. I really thought you'd enjoy it.
I thought so too, but like I just didn't like the Barbie that was included in the kiosk, and maybe another one.
In pink, that's all.
She's a big Barbie collector, and she's got most of that stuff. But
yeah, that's why I can't take over another room in the house, because it's all Barbies. I have like the shoes and everything too, and all the clothes. It's like my Barbie dream house, and yeah, it's really cool. That's why I'm running out of room for the games, because I have other rooms in the house.
Yeah. she's purging the games to be able to go deeper into Barbie. She saw the movie
Yeah.
and she's just like blown away, and she's like, I'm a huge Barbie fan now.
Yeah, I even posed too. I dressed up. I wore all pink. I posed at the little things that they have all displayed there. I had to wait my turn because it was packed trying to pose by Barbie, and yeah, the movie was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting indeed, that's for sure. Well, I know that we were going to talk a little bit about Starfield, since that was, I don't know if we have anything else on the news docket, but that opened up to be able to play yesterday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. If you got that deluxe edition, you're able to play apparently a week early, or the collectors or whatever. So people are talking about it. It blew up Twitter. Twitter went down for a short period of time because it just like took over with the tweets, and it is sitting, at least when I checked last, at an 88 on Metacritic, which doesn't mean much to me. But yeah, I mean 87 currently on Metacritic. So it's getting a lot of 10 out of 10s, and there's only been, I think, 4 reviews that were below a 10. 5 mixed ratings, 49 positive, all 10 out of 10 from those people. So, I mean, I'll give my thoughts, but what are you guys thinking on this game, and just kind of all the stuff around it, and the hype and the type of game it is?
Well, it had a lot of hype, so hopefully
Mhm.
Bethesda did right by delaying it a couple of times and kind of polishing it up so that people, you know what happened with their last game launch with Fallout 76. Everybody hated it, and they did so many
Yeah.
things wrong. I wouldn't call myself a Bethesda fanboy, but I like the games that they make. I like the
Me too.
Fallout franchise. I like the Elder Scrolls franchise. So it's kind of cool to see them come out with a new IP. So hopefully they did it the right way. I won't jump on it too quick. Like I said, I'm too much of a cheapskate to say I'm going to go out and spend that much
I'm right
money
there with you.
for the game. But after it's out for a little while and I can get it for a little cheaper, I'm definitely interested in checking it out.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. What about
Now,
you?
I mean, I think with it, so there was a lot of hype. I definitely missed that showing the one time where I was going to go to the, movies to go see it with Blips and Pips. There was just so much going on that day. But what I will say is you can't always listen to the critics, and we've seen that a lot with all these upcoming movies, the Mario movie, all these other movies. Like, the way it is, like, people who actually play it, who enjoy it, who are, like, the people that they're targeting, are always going to have it, like, rated higher than what some of the critics are going to do. So it's just, you can't even, like, listen to that most of the time. You just have to jump into it and kind of explore it for yourself. So I think no matter what it gets, I'd still like to eventually try it. It just might be a little bit of time for me. But obviously, after some upgrades and some things that we're doing, for like the podcast and other things, I do want to try and get like some streaming stuff set up. Now, I don't think that would be a game I just jump into, but eventually that's the plan. To play more games and kind of experience some of these before you get too much of that backlog that we can all.
Yeah.
You know.
I agree. Yeah, and also we need to, when we get to record some of the other podcasts this week, we'll dedicate a little bit of time to getting that set up, so we can get that going for you. But I wanted to read just a couple quick blurbs from a few people about it. So we got Xbox Addict. Bethesda has not only crafted a new, compelling, and wondrous universe to explore, where you can play in any way you desire, they've created one of the most important games of this generation and prove once again that they're the best at what they do. We got Atomics, which is another big site, said Starfield is a great game from Bethesda. It displays a lot of attention to detail in both its main and secondary missions, and not to mention the open world sections with an entire galaxy to see. They gave it a 95. And then I'll do GamePro left a little blurb. They put Starfield is certainly not a new milestone like Skyrim or Fallout, but it will keep fans of Bethesda RPGs happy. And so they're one of the ones that actually rated it a little lower at 82, which is by no means a bad score whatsoever. I mean, you have to take into account, out of 100, 50 is still an average rating. So 82 is not bad at all. And I was actually kind of shocked from GamePro. They're usually pretty big Bethesda guys, but it's still a good score. And I guess for me, the hype thing is like, I got really let down by a lot of games. I had Duke Nukem Forever on pre-order for many, 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 many years, and then was completely let down by that game. Also, Cyberpunk 2077 had that pre-ordered for many years, probably 4 years, I think. Very let down by that. It is a much better game now, but anyway.
Because I actually loved it, but I didn't jump into it when it first started. But after
Yeah.
I got it real cheap and they did all the patches,
Yeah.
it was a great game.
It's better now. I went and played through it after all that stuff, and much better game. Another game that's very similar to this, No Man's Sky. That was another one that was very hyped on, and when it came out, it was terrible when it came out. Now, it's a wonderful game. They have made that game a top-tier game, must-play game now. But I think maybe for the first time, I wouldn't say it's the first time, I think Bethesda has launched a game that is playable, that is still a good game, even if they're have the bugs going on. It's Bethesda. That's literally what they're known for, are the bugs. But I think that maybe this could be like one of the best game launches from them in a very long time. Because I'm hearing very little about the buggy issues. I did hear a complaint yesterday. Late last night, I was listening to a podcast, and multiple people said that the faces look terrible when you get close to them. They look like awful, like nightmare fuel. Like some of them look horrible, but all the characters are procedurally generated. So currently, with what they have going on, every one of those faces just look different and are made up quick. So I'm sure that they'll patch some of that stuff. But for me, I'm excited. I'm going to play it on Game Pass. I'm not buying it physically right now. If I like it, I might do that later, for $15 or something. But I want to try to stream this when it comes out and check it out for myself. Sounds like a good game. Everyone that I have talked to personally has all really enjoyed it. And I think, I think it's 7 years I've been waiting for this game since they announced it, because they really hyped it at that first announcement. I was just blown away on the concept of what they wanted to do. This was, right at or maybe right before No Man's Sky. I can't remember the year that launched, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. Judge it yourself. Play the game. Critics ratings, I just can't do it anymore. Like, it's just ridiculous anymore. There's so many that, like the Mario movie, like you said, was crazy. Even Sonic 2 had bad ratings, and like the viewer score was like really high.
Sonic.
Or the first Sonic.
When they took to Twitter and then everyone changed the look of Sonic and made it a bad movie.
Thank God. Yeah, but I'm excited to check it out myself. Hopefully I don't know what day that is. I'll have to see. It depends on if I work. But if I'm able to play it on the 6th, I'll stream it and check it out for myself. So, do we have community questions?
We have one that came in.
Okay.
But before that, real quick, we have Retro Rivals. They are saying, yes, they're talking about being on the podcast, so we got to have them, schedule. They're going to try and come up with another date. They do want to come on the podcast. That'd be an awesome time to have you guys. And then they're obviously trying to petition for your name again. So they said, it's Drinking Games with Josh. Awesome guy. He needs to add an S to drink, but it's a work in progress. I think she's going to fight to the end.
Listen, let me make a point. I agree with that. I think it's your channel, and it's great how it is. Drinks and Games with Josh. I love it. I think that's perfect. But that's just me.
I explained it to Jen that the reason is Drink and Games with Josh is because originally it was going to be Drink and Games with Josh, like a play on words kind of. And then when I started to do that, I found out there was actually another channel named that, and I was kind of already half into it, so I just changed it to Drink and Games with Josh. Because typically in most videos I only have one drink.
What are we trying to turn him into? Let him just have his one drink.
An alcoholic, apparently.
I know.
I think it's great how it is. I think I got when I first heard about you and had maybe looked up a video. I can't remember. Brandy was telling me about you. I thought it was Drinks and Games with Josh and thought that's what she was saying. And so I didn't know at first, but yeah, I mean, I like how it is too. I think it's great.
Yeah, do whatever you want. It's your channel.
Too late in the game to change it now. Come on.
Yeah, what you could do to make everyone happy
It's
is you
not
can
too
create.
late. It's never too late.
Yeah, you could create a little playlist that has drinks and games with Josh, and then you can have 2 drinks in those episodes, and there you go. Everyone's happy.
Good idea. See, that's why I need a partner, somebody to bounce some ideas off of.
Yeah, there you go. You put a little playlist of, and then you can like tag retro rivals in it too, in the episodes, and then there you go. Everyone is happy. And then we have people are fighting over my Dreamcast kiosks, and then yes, community question. We had Deciphon, who was asking if we had any TV shows that we were interested in or any to like recommend. They wanted us to talk about them, but that's my spin on the question.
That's a tough
Right
one, actually.
now, I'm not actively
I'm
watching
mostly-
anything right now.
Yeah, I mostly go off the recommendations that like Netflix has. So I have Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, HBO or something. I don't know. Most of them are bundled with like the phone plans or something now. You get like
Yeah.
free for so long.
Yeah.
But I mostly just go off of the recommendations on like the top of the Netflix stuff. So sometimes you watch terrible ones and sometimes you watch decent TV shows. But I've been on like a big kick of like comedies,
Oh,
like
okay.
stand-up comedy type
I
of
love,
thing.
I love stand-up.
Yeah, I just went to see Fortune Feimster, so I just saw her show recently. Why'd you make that face? She came to Baltimore.
You know what's funny? She popped up on my feed the other day.
That's what happened. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's pretty funny. I'm with you. I love the specials. I watch anybody that I'm interested in. I watch every one of their specials. I guess for me, did you have anything else other than comedy?
No. They do have like tons of different TV shows in like their top that I think people can watch right now. But
I will ask you, for both of you, I haven't myself, but have either of you watched Twisted Metal yet?
not yet. I need to.
I don't have Peacock, and like I really don't want to sign. I've got 4 services.
Isn't
I
that
haven't
one
watched
free?
any. Peacock's free? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Pretty sure you pay
It's
for it.
not?
That's the problem. Like I have 4 of them, and I don't use any of them right now. I've not. I still haven't watched Last of Us.
It's just I don't have the time lately. It seems like
Yeah,
to watch.
I'm right there with you.
Like, I used to watch a lot of them. I used to follow quite a few
Me too.
series all the time, but
Me too.
Yeah,
I like true crime documentaries. So if one of those drops somewhere, and like it's something different that I haven't heard 5,000 times. All over that. I love true crime.
I think the last thing I watched was it was a documentary series on steroids and baseball that was on
What was it called?
I forget what it was called. It was on Netflix though. It popped up, but it was talking about
I might have
the whole
started that.
scandal with Barry Bonds and Mark McGuire and all of them with the company that was doing all the
Yeah.
deals.
I just watched the one. It's like Painkillers or something.
Yes,
It's
I watched
talking
that.
about OxyContin and the big hype around it and how it like was pushed out and all like the fraudulent stuff that like went on behind the scenes. So like
Yes.
they have tons of those that are just like they get your attention. You just kind of want to know about some of the stuff and
Yeah.
just random all over the
The
all
good
over
part
the
about
whole.
watching those kind of documentary series is that you don't have to actually watch the thing. You can listen to it while you're doing something else, and when you're
Exactly.
just
Yeah.
busy, like
Yeah, the background
Like-
fillers.
YouTube. That's my true crime consumption is pretty much all YouTube because I can do that. Like it's weird. This is kind of weird. But there are a lot. It's like very very popular, but it is girls that do makeup and talk about true crime, and like I'll have some of these because they're actually very in depth and interesting. I knew you were going to laugh at me. I don't care what's going on because I'm not watching the video, right? And they don't talk about their makeup. They just do the true crime and do makeup. This isn't everybody I watch, but some of them, like the YouTube videos, it's all background pretty much. The only people that I really like watch the video or like friends, other YouTuber friends. But a lot of that is just like background stuff for me,
Mhm.
and I like that. That's most of my um TV movie consumption, I guess, is YouTube really. But
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
it's like 90% of it these days. I have not sat down to watch like an actual series or movie. The last thing I saw was the Barbie movie. So I took my daughter to go see that, and then we also went to go see the Mario movie. So like those are the last two things I saw. Before that, I had not been in the theater since January of 2020. So I've seen two movies in the theater in 3 years.
You might have me beat, actually. I did go see the Mario movie though. That was good.
Yeah.
I liked it. I
Yeah,
enjoyed
you
it.
had to see that one.
And yeah, for sure.
You
I
can't not see that one.
Before that, the last one I saw was Sonic 2. That was the last movie
Yeah.
before that I saw in the theater. You're a regular goer, Brandy. You're a regular theater goer.
Recently, yeah, because I just saw the Turtles movie, and then before that I saw Haunted Mansion, and then before that I saw Barbie. It was like a couple weeks
She's
apart.
like seeing everything. Didn't you? Did you not go see Oppenheimer too? Or we talked about?
No, I'm gonna wait till that comes home because it's real long.
I'm gonna do that with Turtles now too. Unfortunately, I really wanted to go see it in the theater, but it's not gonna take long to come.
Disappointing.
Nothing does anymore. It's right to
3
one of the
months.
streaming services,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, because I'm fine waiting. I've seen this iteration of the Turtles. You know, it's the origin story like what 5 times
The
now.
theater in my living room. The popcorn's cheaper. There's no line for the bathrooms. I can pause the movie and beer is free.
We spent for me and my daughter popcorn and soda $27, not counting the tickets.
And that's cheap. Around here, it's like even more expensive. That's cheap.
It's such a ripoff, but it's like that theater experience for movies that I really care about is worth it. You know what I mean? And if my daughter wants to go, then we're gonna go, which is how it is.
Yeah, and then we have one more question. Trepid
Okay.
Girl Xbox said, "What's your favorite movies? Your top 3 movies?"
Oh, my
Top 3.
first one is Stand By Me. Second,
Oh, I love that movie back in the day.
Dragonheart would be my second, and probably Godzilla vs. Mothra is probably my third. They're all like I have like memories around all 3 of those movies, so it's kind of tied up in that. But I also love the movies themselves.
Number 3 for me would probably be Young Guns.
Nice.
Number 2, The Lost Boys.
Yes.
And number 1,
Yes.
Tombstone for sure. Tombstone has so many great one-liners in it.
I agree with you. Lost Boys is in my top 10 for sure. That's another one of those ones with my dad. All 3 of those were ones that were introduced to me by him and have just stuck with me forever. I watch Dragonheart once a year, Stand By Me once a year. I don't think I've seen Godzilla vs. Mothra in a while, but I watched it 500 times. So they're just all super nostalgic for me.
Yeah, mine changes all the time. I've been on like a Turtles kick, so I'd say like the original Turtles movie would have to be like up there in like my top currently. Yep, still thinking.
Oh my gosh.
I'd have to say Mean Girls because I've been on like a Mean Girls
I love
kick.
Mean
Like I
Girls.
just rewatched that again and I say like the phrases all the time. Like you can't sit with us or do you even go here? You know, like just they stand out
love
like lines.
My wife and my daughter probably watched that movie, or what's the other one? Easy A. Like
That's a
all the
good one
time.
too.
Yeah,
I like that movie too. Call me what you will, but I'm telling you what, when I was in high school, Mean Girls was just a general popular thing. It wasn't just a girls thing. So many of the guys were always saying stuff from the movies. Plus, I mean, at the time, like, you had Lindsay Lohan at her prime, and, you know, so it's like, I watch it.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, there's just a
what's the
bunch. I mean, you
third-
can't go wrong.
What's the third movie? You didn't tell us.
Thinking.
You just been thinking for a while.
I don't know. It goes through whether it's like Ferris Bueller's Day Off or like
Good one.
Ghostbusters or Back to the Future. Like one of those that I always like put on.
One or
all the
two?
time.
Ghostbusters 1 or 2? Which one do you like better?
I feel like one.
all day.
I mean, there's like a bunch. I mean, I've seen all like the spin-offs and all the other things in the games that are like
Yeah,
spin-offs.
those don't count. Well, the games are good, but we don't count anything else. I will say Afterlife is like an enjoyable movie, but it's still not like it doesn't touch one in my opinion.
Yeah,
but still a good
Ghostbusters, the
movie.
video game on PS3. Have you guys played that game?
It is literally Ghostbusters 3.
That's a good one.
It is the movie that didn't get made.
That's probably a top 10 game for me, honestly. It's
Phenomenal.
It's a great game, great story.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, phenomenal game.
I could understand that though. I could see where you'd say it would change, as things go along. From day to day, honestly. Tomorrow I could think of something. You're like, oh man, I forgot. Like, oh, the original Batman. I love that movie because for reasons. You were talking about seeing movies with your dad. I saw that movie with my dad. So
yeah, because like October it changes because then it's Halloween. It's like all Halloween movies. Like every single different like. I just start with one, I'll go through all the Halloweens, and I'll start with one, I'll go through all the Friday the 13th, and then it's just like, you want to catch up each year with different things. I just saw Beetlejuice again, and like, just trying to get caught up on some of like the older ones that I haven't seen since like on VHS.
Yeah.
What do you think about a new Beetlejuice coming out? I think we just wrapped up filming.
I think it'll be good because I like the people who are in it.
Yeah.
It all depends on where they come from with it. Are they is it an easy cash grab? Were they just trying to make some quick money off of it, or did they actually spend the time to write a good script? And
I agree with you.
They brought back the two best actors, so that's good.
I agree with you. I am weird in the fact that I know Beetlejuice is very significant in pop culture, and I loved it as a kid. But I watched it again. I think it was last year.
It's a hard watch.
It's a hard watch. I was amazed that I had loved it as a kid, and it just does not hold up the same. It's not bad, but it is not good.
Really?
I just don't. It was hard for me to get through, like legitimately.
Yeah, I did have that conversation. I still enjoyed it. I think of more of like the memories, but there's so many parts that are like. Not cancel culture, but like there's so many parts that are just like,
though. It's
what were they thinking? And like it didn't like maybe I didn't think of it when I was like a kid, but like this time I like really noticed some things. Like I don't know, but I'm curious to see where like the new one will go. We even have Catching Daisy thing. Beetlejuice isn't a good one to me, so I mean we do have other people who think that.
Yeah. So much nostalgia around that movie and the games even. It was a household watch every year for a long time, but God, it was rough, man. I just don't think even the special effects hold up the same. I don't know, the practical effects, should I say. But that's just me.
Yeah.
Again. And also Nightmare, the Nightmare Before Christmas is overrated. Sorry. I'd throw that out there.
Cool. Way to just end the podcast with that.
Oh, jeez. Do you have any more comments or anything before we wrap up? Or
just a few more people, I guess, coming in now. Real quick, what is your favorite game of all time? They're asking our guest.
That's kind of tough. I mean, there's so many good ones. For the longest time, I thought it was Ocarina of Time. I love that game. Just nostalgia, great story, just a great Zelda game. And Breath of the Wild came out, and I was like, man, this has marginally become a favorite game of mine. If you're talking the PlayStation, honestly, I think one of the best games that ever came out on the PlayStation is the original The Last of Us. That's just a great story-driven game. It kind of depends what you're looking to play, what system you're looking to play on,
So I'll just jump in. Beat 'em ups. What's your favorite beat 'em ups?
River City Ransom. I love that game. And honestly, just before like about 2-3 years ago, I had never played Streets of Rage 2. That's an awesome game. I honestly,
it is.
I don't a lot of Sega stuff, but
I'm right there with you. Mine was Ocarina of Time for many, many years. Breath of the Wild came out. It was very hard for me to say, but it took the place for me of Ocarina of Time. It was what I wanted when I played the first Zelda game. It gave me that. It gave me the experience of the original Zelda. Like it felt like that in a 3D form. It was to me. And then now Tears of the Kingdom has overpassed that. I'm not even halfway through the story, and it is just if you like Breath of the Wild, to me, this is everything Breath of the Wild completely improved with so much more added. It is a phenomenal game, and it has. I'm not even halfway through, and I will say that this is overreigned Breath of the Wild for me. So that. Yeah.
That's crazy.
What about you, Brandy?
What favorite game? Why is it always gotta be me?
Because you're the other person on the show. What the heck? She said no, guys. She won't answer your questions. We're going to stop here.
Ta-da! It always depends, because if I go like super nostalgic favorite games, that's where it like sticks out. Like obviously like Super Mario Brothers or Super Mario Brothers 3. Those are always like standout games. And then, I think to like N64, and like one of them that really stood out a lot, other than all like the first party titles, is Fighting Force, and it's not even like the best game, but it's like that beat 'em up to me meant so much because I played it all the time. And then you just kind of keep going up, and it's just so many great ones. Mortal Kombat is always a standout.
Which one?
Mortal Kombat 2 most of the time, but I'm excited for the new game that's coming out. You're like, there's so many better answers. But I just think of like those nostalgic in the arcades, thinking of that stuff. But then, newer stuff, started playing like Street Fighter 6. So like, going through some of those, it's whatever I'm playing at the moment, and it changes all the time.
Yeah, so. No, I agree. Well, with that said, just a few more comments. Said something about somebody's son.
Everyone's like, catching daisies is like, don't go, please stay on, don't go. I'm having so much fun. I'm having fun, guys. Please don't go. Everyone, I know. I wish
it was their son. That's adorable. Oh,
you play one system the rest of your life. Which system would it be?
What was that, Josh?
I was gonna say, I see a question on here. It says, should I do a playthrough of the Horizon games, or the Last of Us games, or Tears of the Kingdom? Which one first?
Oh, it's
that's a really tough question.
Yeah,
but the Last of Us is an amazing story. I've never played the second game, but the first game was awesome. And the Horizon games, that game just hooked me when I started playing that game. And you get out there, the combat in the game, and just the whole story. Amazing. You're not going to go wrong with any one of those three series, though.
Yeah, just jump in. Just jump in and then play them all.
I would say, and the only reason I say this, I would say maybe Last of Us first, because it's not quite as long of a game as either of those, and you could kind of go endless with those other games. And then for me, I liked Horizon a lot, but I would probably do Tears of the Kingdom next after that, just in my opinion. All three are great games, though. Like you said, you can't go wrong. And I did see one more quick question we had. Thinking Inside the Box said, if you could play one system the rest of your life, what system would it be?
Brandon,
that's so hard, because you want to pick, most nostalgic, but at the same time, you want to pick one that has a bigger library.
I know what I have to say. It's not quite the answer I would think, but Switch for me. Just because of the availability of games on it. Retro, modern, you have everything on the Switch. So
yeah, I'd probably have to do that.
It's not my favorite, but it's up there. It's
impossible to answer that question.
It's so hard,
if you choose Switch, and yes, you can get Nintendo and a lot of the older legacy consoles on there, but you're going to miss out on everything that came out on PlayStation or Xbox that was amazing,
I will say,
because I think about that and I'm like, man, the Switch would be great because I can get Nintendo, Super Nintendo, 64, Genesis, but then I'm like, I'm going to miss out on all that good
stuff. And all the exclusives.
I would say that like now you're getting a lot of those the exclusives. Like you can't do anything if you only pick one. You're going to lose the exclusives for anything. But I would say Switch gets a lot of those multi-platform games now. Not everything, but it's even getting Mortal Kombat 1.
Mm-hmm.
So like it may not be like the best version, but it's hard. Retro wise for me, it would probably be again not even my favorite system, but probably like price. If Wii counts, which I would consider retro, Wii, because I get to play all the GameCube games and all the Wii games, and you get the Wii eShop, and you get the Virtual Console.
Always looking for them cheating. Like, I
I'm
pick
just
this
being
one
realistic. You get one
technically
console.
you can play GameCube on it,
Well, you
and
know what?
technically,
I'm sorry. I choose the Atari 2600.
Gonna get some hatred on that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, you old farts. Jeez.
She said that the last podcast about being old farts with the Atari. I was like,
I
that,
did.
that's how
I
she
was
needs
ready.
to be. It is so funny. That's great. I love it. But
I
yeah,
was
that's
ready
fair.
for all the haters. I
You
was.
didn't
I was
get
like,
any
yeah.
either. And we had Atari
These
people in
like
there.
First 5 minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
People actually agreed with me, but no,
They
I
did.
mean,
Yeah.
you're gamers too.
Would your choice be 64, Brandy, if it is like the only one you could pick? Because it's like such a small library. It's a great system, but such
I
a small
know, and like
library.
I am super nostalgic, but I don't even think I could do it. I don't
yeah.
think so.
Even
If you genuinely only had to pick one console that and no little loopholes in it with the virtual consoles or anything, I would probably go with something like either. And this is funny because I love those systems, but the Super Nintendo or the PlayStation 1.
That
And
was
the reason
good,
I
yeah.
say that is because they're libraries that I haven't fully explored. So
Yeah,
it'd be all new stuff for me to check out.
I'd probably say
Yeah.
PS2.
Yeah, it's got the biggest library. I was gonna say Super Nintendo. PS2
I
is a
grew
great
up,
option.
yeah, or Super Nintendo. It'd be either or, depending
Well,
on the day.
You have the PS1 library too, so like that is a good. But I just thought about this. The Series X, you've got original Xbox, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and Series X games. You get the entire scope. Of course, it doesn't play every one of them, but it plays all those. So,
Like
like,
the reason I bought a Series X, to be honest with you, because I was like, I got a lot of games that I still want
Yeah.
to play. I actually just played a couple months back, played Black, the original Xbox.
yes,
It looked
great game.
Performed great. Awesome.
It's great on there. It's 60 frames per second now.
Yeah.
It's a hard question in general, but I think it'd still have to be Switch for me at the end of the day. Again, not my personal favorite. I love the Switch, but I don't know, for me. But we appreciate having you on, man. Thank you so much.
No problem. I appreciate you guys asking me.
Yeah, it's been a great episode. And then, of course, everyone, we will have his stuff linked below. Please check out his Facebook, his Instagram, and, of course, his YouTube. Give him a subscribe. He's an awesome guy. And we'll have to have you back on again, man.
For sure.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do a little party session, bring a bunch of people in.
Hey, so they asked us to do a video together, too, so we got to do a video soon.
Cool.
Yeah, we have to think of something. But
Yeah,
yeah, we
maybe
should
on-
do something where we bring more people on. That would be a good time too. We haven't really done that. We've just been maybe for like a big milestone we'll have to bring a few people on.
We actually just started talking about that yesterday. Remember the so
Yeah.
I think we're going to do that. I think we're going to do a big community episode and maybe potentially make it like a monthly thing or something where everybody just comes and hangs out and we just talk. If you want to have a beer, you can have a beer and just have a good time.
If you want to have a drink or drinks, it's perfect.
Absolutely.
You gotta have Josh there.
Of course, definitely.
You guys make sure that you go over to the Real Bit Wars channel and vote
Yes.
for this month, September's YouTuber of the Month. See who the nominees are, and drop all of those folks a sub and show them some love.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yep. And then Gamer Aimer had just dropped a video. It is actually our panel from Southern Fried. So if you guys could please check that out if you're watching this after we are live, run over to her channel and check that out. That was a great panel. So I think you guys would enjoy it. But definitely stay tuned. Doing a community podcast, I think that is a great idea. And we were just talking about it yesterday. I mentioned it again earlier. So stay tuned on that. I've got some ideas I want to talk about it on Tuesday. So we'll be back again Sunday. Yeah, no Wednesday podcast this week. So we'll be back again Sunday if you're watching us later. Yeah, we'll have another podcast soon. We'll see y'all.